All right, folks, would you believe it? 19 days into the holy month. So once again, Ramadan Kareem. Welcome to the program. It's a Friday, and I'm Citizen Jones. Today on the program, Supreme Court declares PDP candidates winners of all 2019 elections in Zamfara State. Did you get that right? Now, Governor Amosun and Abiodun in last-minute battle as Amosun blocks venues of Dapo Abiodun's inauguration activities with sand and road excavation bulldozer. And this one, Katsina cancels May 29 ceremonies over killings by bandits. And later on, this one, Oshibajo and governors raise alarm over increasing population. I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Jide, I greet you.
I greet you, sister.
You were counted at the last election.
Yes.
So we are not inflating anything. We also have Chris Kainde Wangu is here. You were counting too.
I was counting.
But you are making children.
I am. Seriously.
Good for you.
Good for me.
And we also have our big brother and friend, Majid Jamiu.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
God bless you.
I know you stopped making babies, so no problem there.
I stopped 13 years ago.
Now the team is ready. I hope you are. You know, in politics, vanity and pride are two different things. You may be proud without being vain. The political class in Zamfara State exhibited a lot of both at the just concluded 2019 polls and are reaping meagerly today. The Supreme Court, in a momentous decision on Friday, ruled that the APC did not conduct a valid primaries in the build-up to the 2019 general elections in the state. So invalidating the judgment of the appeal court on the matter, Governor Abdulaziz Yari is spending his last 3 work days in office beginning from this evening. In the unanimous decision, the Apex Court decided that neither the governor nor any of the other candidates, including his deputy, could have won any election in that state. And in addition, a fine of 10 million naira was awarded to the PDP as a consequence of the grand standing by the APC. Didn't nobody saw this coming? Saw it?
It's difficult to say nobody saw it coming.
No, me, I no see him. I didn't see it.
Okay, now you know see him. but you see, many people saw it coming. Many people wished it didn't happen.
Including the
I will
APC.
confess that I wished it didn't happen because you know why I didn't want it to happen?
If you tell me.
I didn't want a generation of people, of politicians, to suffer because of the overbloated ego of a few individuals. It's difficult, but that's what has happened. It's difficult to take, but that's what has happened. I warned the APC to close ranks. I warned them of the consequences of infighting. And that's what we have seen today. You see, Oshiomhole, as chairman of the party, has his blame on this matter. The deputy national chairman, North of the party, Senator Lawan Shaibu, has his blame in this matter. Governor Yari, and and Senator Kabiru Marafa. These were the people who caused this to happen. The moment Oshiomhole told INEC that it lied, that indeed primaries were held at City King Hotel Gusau, and that the party agreed on a consensus arrangement. And Yari disputed his claim. Marafa too disputed Oshiomhole's claim. I knew the APC was finished in Zamfara. Because if for consensus to be validated, every stakeholder must agree. All the stakeholders must agree. That is what the law says.
Consensus.
Yes, for the INEC to agree that indeed this is a list of consensus candidates, none of the stakeholders must raise a finger against it. So, well, the contest in Zamfara is on a tripod. Kabiru Marafa on one side, the governor on another, and Oshomole representing the national leadership of the party, the National ESCO, and the cabal in Aso Rock. Oshomole preferred Dauda Lawal.
Jide Cabal.
Yes, by God's grace is the truth that I'm saying. Oshomole preferred Dauda Lawal, the retired banker. The governor preferred his own finance commissioner.
Yeah, I remember, in the build-up.
Koguna, Muktari Shehu Koguna Guso. The Kabiru Marafa wanted himself. Job. So, if out of the three, I'm talking about a tripod now, if two said consensus didn't happen, that meeting that you are talking about that was held in City King
was a no-no.
There's no way you will expect the Supreme Court to agree that indeed primaries held. Whereas what happened was that ab initio, the people who are supposed to monitor the primaries from the APC national headquarters, they got express instructions to not work with Yari's candidate. So if Yari and co were planning, as the governor of the state, planning to have primaries of the party, these guys, all they did was simply sit inside an hotel and refuse to monitor the primaries because there was an attempt to arrive at an answer. And that answer was a so-called consensus agreement. So once the two out of three groups that make up the tripod said no, there was no consensus agreement arrangement. Once they disagreed with the national chairman of the party, it's not going to be difficult for the court to see clearly that something is wrong.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, it went on and on.
Interests.
They could, in politics, you must be ready to concede at some point.
Yeah.
But to all these people, their egos ensured that they continue to fight, even after the appeal court gave a favorable judgment that enabled them to take part in the election. They still didn't stop.
Okay.
So the question now is, for someone like Kabiru Marafa, who has been behaving like an enemy of his own party, what has he gained at the end of the day? If it is PDP that ultimately benefits, because that's what has happened.
And Chris, they talk
and
about...
they've not expelled him, he's still there.
We talk...
I mean, with that kind of a member in your party, you really don't need an enemy.
Not to say from this hangout you are asking for the man to be expelled, no.
I will advise them to expect. What if you can do this to your party? What's left? Abi Mojit.
No, of course.
Leave that. Please don't go there.
They may choose not to take my advice. But me, the truth.
When they go make up, they no go call you.
Now their problem be that if they like, make them make up even today.
Chris, I'm saying
yes.
But there are some folks in this country, in the political class, they are up to no good, and they can't hide it.
Yes. I agree with you, Citizen John. And to some extent, I also agree with my brother, friend, and colleague, Mjide, on the narrative. But where I disagree with him is on the issue of Senator Kabiru Marafa. He's a party member. He's entitled to that office. If he decides that he wants to be a governor.
No one is saying he should not be governor.
Yes.
Are you assuming that I didn't want him to be governor?
No, I didn't say that. What I'm saying,
I didn't say he should not be governor.
What I'm saying is that, let me tell you, all that
but
is
he should have played by the rules.
By the rules.
There was even a time that he deceived them. He said, well, I'm a party man, that he was going to abide by the decision of the court.
Yeah.
That was after the appeal court gave a judgment that favored the Yari group.
That's it.
Only for him to go back.
In politics, all that is fair in war. And that is politics. And that's why I was even telling some of my colleagues before we came on, said that never say never when it comes to politics. Okay? Now, look at the scenario. I think, just as you mentioned initially, this issue could have been handled in a very, very intelligent manner, politically. But at the end of it all, probably all of them didn't know that it would lead to this. Because if all of them had known, yes, they wouldn't have gotten themselves and shoot themselves on the foot. Now, look at it from this scenario. Never in the thinking of either Marafa, either Iyari, or even the national chairman of APC would they ever think that the Supreme Court can give an order that everything, the next political party, from down to top, that everything goes to the next party. It's not possible.
I'm told we must make money. So we'll go for a break.
We'll be back.
And we'll be back. Okay, then, welcome back. We'll go back to the topic. Supreme Court, come on, Jones. Supreme Court declares PDP candidates winners of all 2019 elections. Majid, at a glance, you can say 3 senators, 7 House of Reps members, and 24 state assemblymen. That's how many? 34. The figure is 34.
And governorship.
Okay, plus
the big one.
And the deputy.
Governor and deputy.
So it is self-inflicted. But pointedly, I want to ask you, when the INEC flashed the yellow card to both Rivers and Zamfara, did you take it seriously?
Honestly, I took it serious. And you know, INEC issued guidelines more than a year before the commencement of the 2019 election series. And they called that even before submission of nominations closed on October 8, 2018, there were constant reminders that you need to put your house in order, that you must make sure that everything was right before October 8, which was the last day. They had ample opportunity to make these things, right, to correct whatever. But like Jide said and CKN, personal ego, selfish interest, greed, that's what pushed APC to this abyss. The same thing happened in Rivers. It happened in Imo
and
Ogun. And now look at Zamfara. Zamfara is, you can say Zamfara is 100% APC.
Until this moment.
Until this happened. Now, some of these politicians, I don't know the English coinage now, but Yoruba will say, kakake kuma jesese. I think somebody should help us translate that.
Ubieku. No, Jide's Yoruba is fractured, so let's not even go there. So you are saying instead with the rat go do it?
Rather than for the rat not to eat the beans, it will rather scatter it.
That's it.
I think
like a dog in a manger.
That is it. So that is the situation we have found ourselves in Zamfara. A similar thing would have happened in Ekiti, where a former deputy national chairman of the party also went to court. But in this case, he took part in the primaries and came a very, very distant second. 940 delegates to...
Majid, he came second. Leave this distant.
Okay, fine, second is second. But then, the issue is...
Looking for a way to address it.
No.
To rub it in.
No, but you see, after you came second and you congratulated the winner,
you still went to
court.
This is where the issue of handlers will come in.
Yeah.
Oga no gree. Do you know it is always there? Oga, how can you let go?
And when they asked him, he said he wanted to deepen democracy. I mean, they will always find that phrase to use. And in the case of, now going back to Zamfara.
Quickly,
I
because
see,
we must step.
Yes, I see a serious constitutional crisis coming in now. Supreme Court has ruled, but then the APC candidates scored 534,000 541 votes, while Bello Matawale,
200
the
votes,
PDP,
1,000.
scored 189, which is not up to, I mean, that one can never give him.
That is your
25
interpretation.
or two.
Look at what the Supreme Court is
No,
knocking.
the Supreme Court
what
has ruled.
it has
Supreme
knocked
Court has
is
ruled.
you didn't play by the rules.
See, the thing is,
That's all.
you know the thing, I've saw this argument on Facebook too.
No, it's
Oh,
not,
yeah.
it's not tenable.
And I just
Maybe
I
nine
burst
starter.
into laughter.
It's not tenable.
Maybe nine
The
starter.
decision of the Supreme Court
Yes.
has nothing to do with even the election contestants.
Yes.
The decision of the Supreme Court was predicated on a pre-election
Pre-election is a
matter.
pre-election
So
matter.
since it was predicated on a pre-election matter,
Ab initio,
an
it has nothing-
issue of okay, how many votes did you score?
Does not come
out.
out.
But before you
Doesn't
can
come
be a
out.
Let me
governor,
tell you.
you can't win in
Okay,
the court alone.
okay, hold on.
Okay, after
how
the-
many
Supreme Court.
did Amechi have spread
Yeah.
when he was made governor? When he
That
was,
was-
That was against
Let me tell
that
you.
was in 1999.
So this was
this is
2019.
This is 2019.
You know
There
what
has
usually
been
happens?
other,
You know what
budget
usually
is
happens?
not.
Let me tell you what usually
Budget is
happens.
not. It's not.
If you are discovered, if you won an election, and you are discovered to have falsified your documents, you forge your documents. Automatically, the person next to you takes your place.
So
Nobody
that-
asks any
spread.
question whether he has spread or not.
spread.
So,
it has happened.
PDP has it.
Yes,
No,
this
no,
is the
come on.
thing.
That's the judgment
Forget
of
that
the-
argument that
that's the
some people
judgment
are
of the
coming
Supreme
up
Court.
with.
Gentlemen
And
of the
Supreme Court,
Supreme
Okay, we
Supreme Court
must,
will not reverse
we
themselves.
must,
That's
we
the highest
must,
court in the
we
land.
must
They will
move
not
ahead.
reverse themselves.
No, this is why this is.
We
totally
must
silent.
move ahead. This is not the court.
The court has given
I
the
expected-
They
judgment.
won't reverse themselves.
I
Will
expected
they?
you to have asked
They will not
where do
reverse
they,
themselves.
from the
I'm
Supreme
saying
Court, where do you
the
go
only
to?
place to appeal to is just God now. That's the way we say it in law.
Or God, or God,
You know what Hausa man will
They wait
say?
for 4 years.
Yeah, they have to
Afasa,
wait.
Kowa, Rasa. That's like what he said. Let us scatter it so that
Bam, that's all. Okay then, but as we say here, the debate must continue from your part of the world. But let's move on. You know, some supposed powerful figures in our jurisdiction will always flaunt expendable influence to impress people who don't like them, for goodness knows why. The hostility between outgoing Governor Ibikunle Amosun and Governor-elect Dapo Abiodun continues to heighten. With just days to the inauguration, every motorable road to the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abeokuta, we are told that's the venue of the May 29th inauguration of Dapo Abiodun, is reportedly blocked on the pretext of road construction. I hear a huge gully, and huge and wide and deep gully is constructed in front of the entrance to the the June 12 Center.
Yes, cultural
So
center.
what are we talking about here?
it's,
Beyond ego.
honestly, I don't think what even bothers the Dapo Abiodun group the most is the fact that the governor, in the guise of road construction, has mobilized a hefty heap of sand to block the venue of the inauguration lecture and the lecture. What bothers them the most are some of the actions that Governor Ibikunle Amosun's government is taking that constitute what you can describe as financial landmines, trying to create financial booby traps for an administration that is yet to take off. You suddenly realized the need to promote 75 baales to the rank of obas. For so long, you are owing this contributory pension thing.
Okay.
You are deducting and not remitting. You know, the civil servants even wanted to go on strike at some point.
Yeah.
The governor has now made up his mind that he is going to pay 20 billion to take care of that and April salary. He has appointed 21 PAMSECs, just appointed 21 PAMSECs. He's employing staff. 1,000 new staff he just employed. And when they said, you can't be doing this in a transition season, I said, no, that is that they were employed legally, that they passed through the examination at ASCON, therefore you cannot say that we didn't follow due process. But all these things, if you are entering into all kinds of obligations, all kinds of commitments at the last minute, commitments with serious financial implications, it means that you are trying to hurt the administration that is coming. You know, it happened to in Ekiti State, where in spite of Fayemi's warnings, the immediate past administration went ahead to employ thousands of new workers.
About 2,000 or so.
Well, we are struggling to pay salaries, but you still didn't feel restrained. You still went and brought in thousands of workers. For me, look, pouring sand or digging gully in front of the venue of an event is even symbolic. What matters the most are some of these actions.
Yeah.
Because it has serious implications for the person. What it will cost for that administration is, if the administration comes now and says, look, I'm not going to abide by these things, I will not honor these obligations, then it walks into a climate of hate. This is not an administration for us. This is a bad one. That's what they are trying to create. GMs, OGBC and the other OGTV, they've been there for so long in active capacity. It's just now that they occur to you that you should confirm them.
If the man has just seen the light, so be it. No problem. But it's this.
They are saying that transition, you know what they are saying? You know, they are saying that transition cannot stop governance. But why now?
Yeah.
Why now? So you mean it makes sense to simply go and hire 20,000 staff now and put them when you're on your way out?
The timing is right. The timing
Cranes,
is right.
you've heard this statement credited to the so-called first Antichrist, Napoleon Bonaparte. He said in politics, stupidity is not a handicap.
Yes.
Do you see a handicap anywhere? I mean, for the governor. And to think, Chris, also, that both parties belong in the same APC.
Anyway.
Marafatu is APC.
It's just unfortunate that it's just APC.
Enemy in the house.
It's just enemy in the house. But sincerely, it's not just in Ogun State. Let's be realistic. It's happening everywhere, even in my state.
Which one?
You know my state now.
I don't know.
Every time you ask me my state. You know that we are the only one that is very easy.
Okay, sorry. Please go on.
The state of statute. You know, a lot of things have been happening. Even right here in the neighborhood of Ogun State, in your state, recently you see what is happening. The governor naming everything after people and the rest of them, appointing and the rest of them. The fact is that our politicians don't learn. And that is a fact. Our politicians don't learn. And it is rather unfortunate. Instead of them to end up on a high, they continue going down. A governor that spent over 8 years in Ogun State was a former senator. I expected something much patriotic, if I should use that word, from him. He should be living as a statesman. Politics is gone. He has lost. And politics is about, look at it even from the point of, he won his senatorial seat. There are some governors that didn't win. The one in Oyo State didn't win. The one in my own state, the man is still struggling to Gombe. That everybody thought that did excellently well. Excellently well. That if there's a state that is to be used as Dankwabo or do a PDP, that guy did fantastic. I was not Gombe for 2 days. I knew what. So, but upon all, they still remain good party men. Amoso did not leave APC. He only asked his cohorts to go to APM, and he contested under APC to win his senator. So for him to be doing the kind of things, if it doesn't speak well, I know, as I said, even as much to say that governance is a continuum. The incoming governor, whether it's bumping trap, whether it's a hit-up trap or whatever, he will definitely notify, because there's no way you're going to tie the hands of a man and just bring him and say for him to be shot. He needs to say something. So definitely I know some of these things. So, but is it today that he knows that he has to construct that road? Is it today that he knows that it's just too petty? It's just been petty. And that's the way I look at it. It shouldn't have got into that kind of things. And I think it should be
Germany is not, in spite of all
even
this.
Just the last one.
Yeah.
Even recently, there was a statement by the paramount ruler of Ijebu land, Obadetuno. Awujale. And he made a statement, very germane.
In Ijebu?
Yes, he made a statement.
Speak it.
And he said he realized that Governor Amosu hates Ijebu people. He said Amosu is his friend. He has been very good to him. But one thing he realized is that...
Did he make the statement in English or in Jebu language?
But he did. So that kind of thing, I expect so much from Governor Amosu, but I'm highly disappointed with what's going on.
Well, Germany is not surprised. We have walked this path before. And it won't end here. It won't end here.
Yeah.
So he talked about statesmanship. You have choices. You have choices, and so you are asking yourself, is this choice by Governor Amosu from his... You know, we are told that a mistake of the head can be forgiven, not a mistake of the heart.
I think I need to clear some issues there. I was in Abeokuta about a month ago. I go there regularly. There has been construction.
For only God knows what. No, go on.
I'm fasting, Citizen Jones.
Okay, I'm sorry. I withdraw that.
Okay, so I was in Abeokuta about a month ago, and even for the past 1 year, there has been heavy construction around the MK Abiola Stadium area, the government house. I mean, there is a flyover, and there's a shop, very big shop right that is coming. If you know that area very well, there have been diversions. But if I were, of course, the special advisor to the governor is my friend. We are together in the Independent. Rotimi Joja, he issued a statement this morning that the president will be coming to Abeokuta on Saturday to commission some projects, and that they are trying to hasten some of the...
Yeah.
But then, you see, why the MKO Stadium, where the inauguration ceremony will hold, and the cultural center? I mean, we all saw the pictures of this, the bulldozers in front of blocking this, the entrance to these two venues. They said they have created another entrance at the back. But if you are going into Abeokuta now, I mean, you come in through Shagamu Expressway, you go through that. What you will see on the road is that main gate of MK Abiola Stadium. That's what people will see, not one back entrance somewhere. You could have allowed this inauguration to go and let the incoming administration continue with whatever, since we all understand that government is a continuum. But like Jide said, that one is just an aside. The booby traps are really the
financial
booby traps. Ogun, luckily, Ogun earns about 9 billion naira from internally generated revenue every month. But given what is happening in that state, go to Lambe and a lot of places in Agbado axis, you see abandoned bridges that has really messed up those areas. Yeah. I would have expected that you will concentrate on getting those ones completed and stop putting those people in a very harrowing situation than to create. But then, I have an advice for Dapo Abiodun. You should go and learn from Kyle Defayemi, how he was able to. You see, anybody taking up any appointment at this 11 hours should know that that appointment cannot stand in any of the states that are transiting from. That is the truth.
Again, as usual, we ask that the debate must continue. But I also have an advice for Governor Amosu. It is said politics is more like viewing a pack of wild dogs. Gentlemen, you understand? If any of you falls down, the others will feast on you.
That's it.
I hope the message is clear. Okay, you know, these are not the best of times for us and our country, and so the crazy times call for men with clear heads and good judgment. May 29 is Inauguration Day in most states around the country, and most Nigerians look forward with the anticipation But you know, evil minds will always be on the prowl. They want to spoil the party. Katsina state government has cancelled all activities for the May 29 inauguration ceremonies, except the swearing in of Governor Bello Masari and Deputy Alhaji Manir Yakubu. I hope I got that right. The uplifting news, though, is broken by the SSG, Mustafa Inua. He says the idea is to commiserate with families and others who have lost their loved ones owing to the dastardly acts of armed banditry in that state. Our hearts go out to the lost souls in the most brutish of ways. Jide, you get so perplexed at a time like this is peacetime, but politicians are making it more. You go back and think a second time. Sometimes you are wondering if you are the sane one or if the political class is the saner one.
Yeah, well, if you look at what has happened, I think it was a good decision to simply have a very quiet inauguration, no fanfare of any sort, because Zamfara has been going through a lot in the last few weeks. It's like the killings have moved from Katsina. It's like the killings have moved away from Katsina, and killers have descended on Katsina like paratroopers. That's the way it seems now. So almost every day we hear about killings in Katsina. So the government has decided that, look, we are not going to have those inauguration festivities, those ceremonies. They are just going to, because that is what the Constitution demands that they do. They are just going to quietly inaugurate the governor and his deputy. And it can be done without a crowd even witnessing it.
Yeah.
Just a few government officials can actually
But with the state chief judge.
Yes.
Yeah.
All that you need to do is get the chief judge and to administer that oath on them for a second term. So in line with the mood of this time in Katsina, I think that's a good decision. In any case, May 29 is no longer Democracy Day.
Yeah.
It's been supplanted by June 12th, and even the president has indicated that the bulk of the celebrations will happen on June 12th. So that was a good decision by Governor Masari to not be seen to be celebrating at a time when his people are in distress, his people are mourning. So, but it shouldn't end there. Government should do its utmost to put an end to these killings. Our people have suffered enough across the country. Government must
Chris,
end these killings.
the banditry was avoidable from day one.
Yeah.
And now it's like changing horses while you are midstream. We are midstream. Obviously, let's use Katsina as a metaphor for what's happening around the country. So you expect the Katsina governor and other governors who are bedeviled with this banditry to up the ante, because it's not enough to take this stopgap arrangement. Yeah. Because the people deserve more than they're getting.
To me, once again, our heart goes out to the people of Katsina State on what is going on. And what we are seeing is failure of leadership, as far as I'm concerned. First and foremost, you have to realize that it came so far that even the governor had to cry out himself. He called on the president and security agencies to do something about what is happening in his state. It got to a height that a few weeks ago, a very high-profile traditional ruler was kidnapped. Until now, he has not been found, and nothing has been said about him. And so that shows the level of insecurity. And just a few days ago, another set of people were killed, that the president had to give an order that the security chiefs and should move in and do something, and the rest of them. But that is just a tip of the iceberg. That is what is happening across the country now, not just Katsina. The insurgency has resonated, especially across the northern part of Nigeria now. If you see what is happening along the Abuja-Kaduna Express, it's nothing to stay home about. Even our so-called big people now take train. They rather go by train.
Are they so-called?
Yes, well, I put it that way. Our so-called. They now take train, they don't go by the road, despite all the effort that the government is doing and security agencies are doing. I think they are doing their best, but it seems we are getting overwhelmed again. This is not only Boko Haram this time around. These are miscreants, these are people that at times you don't even know where they're coming from. I read something by somebody that was a lecturer that was kidnapped some time ago. And the narrative he gave that I read doesn't go to show that most of these things are being perpetrated by Nigerians alone. According to what he said, some of them are from neighboring countries who came in to just do their bit, and that is where we have to increase our intelligence.
No robber would come to your environment without the cooperation of...
I agree, but that is
Juba.
But you have to understand this peculiar situation we find ourselves. We have one of the most porous borders across the globe. We don't even know where our border
is a border state.
That is the problem we are having. So this guy could just come in, do whatever they want to do, and go back. And that is the problem. So I think we should also, our security agents should be investing more into intelligence gathering, rather than the brutish way we are going about our security parties.
Jami, so when the SSG of Katsina is urging prayers in these last days of, before the incoming government, before inauguration, and it is also Ramadan, prayers alone will not do anything. Prayers alone, without work. And don't you think politicians and powerful people in this country can take the advantage of the holy month to put things right? It's not beyond them. It's not. It's humanly possible.
CKN talked about failure of leadership, and Jide also talked about the improving on our security architecture. Last weekend, Jide left his his former state, Kogi. He came to his adopted state, Ekiti, and while coming back to Lagos,
Proudly adopted.
Yes, proudly adopted. Yeah, that's Ekiti state. I mean, I was checking on him almost every 30 minutes.
Because you were not sure.
Yes, and I was also praying that at least God should help
take him back to his state.
Yes. So, because, I mean, journeys from any part of the country now is becoming really, really terrible, except probably Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, where, I mean, there's relative, because of the dual carriageway nature of that. But on those routes, is it from Ekiti to Kogi or Ondo to Ekiti, or even anywhere?
Ilesha
to Akure, Kabaokene, Abuja, Kaduna. These things happen. And we cannot continue to say, fine, it's good to declare, to show some somber reflections, cancelling or rather reducing activities on Inauguration Day, because as a mark to commensurate with the people that are lost their loved ones. But then beyond that, we need to increase or to improve on our intelligence gathering, to improve on our security architecture, because we have been saying this on this program severally, that we can continue to hope that prayers will solve all these problems. How many, or what's the level, or what's the quantum of prayers that they do in China and that they are making progress? I'm not saying we should not pray, but we should do the needful. We should provide that necessary.
You are saying, rather than pray, when you are hungry, go to the kitchen. That's what I want to do. I hear we must take some more commercials. We'll be back. Please don't go away.
Okay.
Okay, then, let the debate continue as usual. But we go to the next subject matter, the last not the least. Only the poor in mind and spirit would care less about a potential population explosion. After all, to him, man was commanded to go into the world and multiply. Great and discerning minds would broach this critical subject matter. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, and some governors on Thursday raised the alarm over Nigeria's increasing population. The occasion was the valedictory session of the National Economic Council, NEC, at the State House, Abuja. The VP said, in part, in the next few years, our population will double with the attendant challenges of jobs and education, healthcare, and so on and so on. We don't need prophets to tell us. I know the size of my family. I'm sure Jide knows his and everybody else. So population explosion is staring us hard in the face.
Yes, and we are not making any move to address the problem. It's for some countries, for some industrialized countries, they even want their population to grow. Countries like France, they still give incentives to people to procreate.
Canada, Switzerland.
Russia gives incentives to couples to procreate. You know, but here in Nigeria, people don't need incentives. Some people, they don't have jobs, but they have up to 7 or 8 children.
Please, if you can, give incentives for people not to procreate. You see, they'll come out.
That is no, they will take that incentive, but they will go ahead and procreate. That's what they want. It won't work in Nigeria. You will see some people, you want to help them. And you see clear that you want to help, you have only 2 or 3 kids.
Yeah.
And look at the fellow that you want to help. He has 15 kids by 3 women.
Yeah.
So this is the problem.
Because you know, feed marry 3.
We don't have the resources to take care of.
So, Chris, the days when you used to be told, don't worry about breeding children, God will feed them, those days are gone.
Gone, no.
Oh,
gone
really?
Gone for real. But even at that, but you still realize that some people will still continue to do what they do. You know, we have some challenges. We have some challenges. Some of our challenges are cultural in nature. One, for example,
religious?
Yes, religious, cultural. There are instances where you look at people and they say, oh, a man wouldn't want the wife to take contraceptives and the rest of them. A man wouldn't want to use what he's supposed to use to be able to estimate.
The Catholics don't do that.
Yeah, but even at that, but those are part of prevention. Okay, that's even gone further in medical terms, where some people have to, you just go to a clinic or wherever, you are given an injection, if you had enough children and rest of them, and you stop, producing and rest of them. But just as Jide rightly said, part of our problem is poverty. And not only poverty
of the mind.
That's exactly where I was going to. Poverty of the mind. And when people don't have jobs, how do they recreate?
But uncontrolled population surge will deepen poverty.
It is going to, because based on what the Vice President said, he said in the next few years, we're going to double, our population will double. Okay, so let's give and take. If we are 180 now, although we said they've gotten to 200, we've gotten to about 200, then that means in the next few years, we're going to be about 400 million and the rest of them. And our resources, our feeding and resting is dwindling.
Hospitals, schools.
The oil boom is dooming and the rest of them. So we have the serious challenge.
Jamiu is the only odd one out here. He is a Muslim. He's entitled to 4 wives. So how do you stop him?
He still hardly one, and he's not.
No rival. No rival.
No rival.
That's what we call it. So. No rival will not allow
the wife is
him
no
to
rival.
bring in a fresh person.
I have a dad to look forward to. My dad has just one. You say
you want to measure body with your dad?
Yes. No, I have to. And
his dad is a chief imam. And he has only one.
And so I don't have that reason to go for more than one.
Unlike
Jide said,
seriously,
no rival.
My wife is no rival.
No rival.
No rival. You can't stand
you don't get part 2.
But seriously, there's a problem with the rate at which our population is growing. But then now go to the motor parks. You can't see any driver or a conductor going by the name Jide or Jones. It's Baba Luku, Baba Asma, and most of them, they have more than 3, 4, 5 wives.
Yes.
And concubines.
And concubines.
Several concubines. So how do you stop them?
Different women.
And most of them have just one room or room and parlor.
God will provide. I'm told by production team we must wind down. But what more can I say? I have 2 children. I set out to have more, but I have only 2, and I'm done with the 2. We have choices to make. So need we expand that? Quickly, let's do a little something, not a part of the script, but you'll forgive this. Youth in Politics is a group in Delta State. They have a chapter in Delta State, led by Ambassador Iman Oguri. Iman, he has something for us, and he's assisted by Cadmus Patrick. Good, how are you?
I'm fine, sir.
No, come greet me now. Which one you did? How you did? I greet you. That's Jide. You know him?
Yes, sir.
That's Chris. You know Jamil. But by the way, how many children you get?
I have two.
Only?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe
right,
he
so-
still has plans for more.
Quickly, you have an award for us.
Yes.
What provoked this?
I'm from Delta State. I've been watching journalists hang out for the past years.
Okay.
And I was really impressed with Babajide Kolade for the prediction during the 2019 election. That prompted me to, and my association, to give an award to all he did.
Okay.
He predicted for the presidency and also for my state, and he got it right. So I didn't
If you got it wrong in your state, this thing no for come. Okay, no, it's all right.
Got no show.
No,
I'm given
but-
as the best predicted journalist for the year
Ew.
2019.
So until the next elections. No. Take a bow. Give him.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
You are encouraging me to make more predictions. And
Nice, Baba.
I will continue to make predictions, and hopefully I will start a church.
Quickly, Iman, Cadmus, Delta State chapter. Are we saying Edo has a chapter? Akwa Ibom has? Youth in Politics? Yes. So, professionally, are you a politician?
Yes, sir.
You too?
Sure.
Okay. So, by the way, congrats. Wish you well. Wish you well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I hope your politics will be different from the ones we talk about
The one
here.
we've been talking about. Yes.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, folks. Again, gestures like this will tend to provoke us to do more than we're doing. At this hangout, we bring serious matters of state, thrash them out in a non-formal setting, just so it goes well. But let me thank Jamil for coming,
Thank you.
and Ramadan Karim to you.
Thank you very much. I'll invite you to come and break fast with me one of these days before
Only-
we finish.
you
No, of course, the day is
You
screw.
invite us.
He has been giving salam alaikum. You didn't give me salam
Just
alaikum.
5 a.m. Before I go come. Chris Wandu, many thanks for your
Thank you very
time.
much for having
And
me.
Babajide, congrats.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
That's it. I dare say the award is for the team.
It's
the
for all
team,
of us,
for those.
for the producers. I thank them
Yeah.
for the encouragement. I thank all our viewers, because without you, there won't be we. Yeah, so we thank you so much.
And the prediction from my end is the program will return on Monday, and also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms we'll show you on the screen, and also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel remains the same. I am Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now.